Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 23 driver career mode here on the channel. We have some big developments coming into this weekend. Audi bringing 2 upgrades to our engine and to the Williams Audi engine as well, hopefully making us competitive with McLaren going forward. The other big news, Alex Albon has left Ferrari coming into Ferrari's home race. He has gone and taken over Marino Sato's seat at the Lamborghini team alongside Lando Norris, who replaces Alex Albon. Well, Ferrari have called up their sim test driver back at the factory, Jarno OPMEER, a driver that's had significant success behind the virtual wheel in Formula 1 esports. Well, a part of this career mode storyline, he was a now sim tester for Ferrari back at the factory, and they have called him up. They have not called up anybody from Formula 2. They have not taken Marino Sato to the team. They have not gone and grabbed Jack Doohan like I thought might have been possible over at the Connersport team. Nope, they have brought Jarno OPMEER into Formula 1 for the final part of this final season in this F1 23 driver career mode. In what has been a terrible career mode for the Ferrari team, and especially the last about 3 seasons, they have decided to just go for broke and take a shot at OPMEER and put him behind the wheel. And he was P10 here in FP1, while Albon put up a decent P1 or FP1 as well. We come through Saturday afternoon qualifying. We know the situation for us. We have yet to win a championship in Formula 1, and we're running out of time very quickly. 6 Grand Prix remain, and we need to get it on because we are over 2 full races behind the championship leader of Charles Leclerc. It was raining at the start of Q1, but it would dry up right towards the end of the session, and that's when I come out with the soft compound tire. We don't really need a spectacular lap, we just need a lap here, as the track was continuing to dry, and I was the last one to make a lap here. Jamie Chadwick never actually got a good lap put together. She went out on the softs really early when it was still drying in the early parts, so she was actually going to be down in 20th. Jamie Chadwick will miss Q2. She is out at the bottom of the grid as Vesti, Sonoda, Piastri, Schumacher will join her there. Zane Maloney gets through in the Audi Williams, and like I mentioned, Audi Williams bringing some upgrades as well with the Audi upgrade packages. In Q2, actually, my first lap, a bit of a mistake there going around, so it would come down to my second lap. Can that get us through into Q3? So suddenly, a bit of pressure on us here now as we come through the chicane here towards the tail end of this lap, and it was a pretty decent lap overall, and it was going to be enough to make me pretty comfortable to get into Q3. Around the final turn, down this front straightaway, just full pinned to the line. We barely get through into Q3, but hold on, everyone's coming back around, and they've gone faster. We're now down to P11. Behrman barely gets in. Albon in P9 over myself, Behrman and Mayer and Doohan, but we would find 0.3 of a second, and that will be enough to put us through into Q3. So, false alarm there, no pressure. We get through, as you can see, Behrman, Mayer, Doohan, Maloney all out, and actually a grid penalty that Yuri Vips is going to be taking, of course, now OPMEER's teammate, and it's a illegal blocking grid penalty, so he will lose 5 positions based off of where he qualifies going into the Grand Prix. Now into Q3, we're only going to get 1 lap in. I had to use 2 sets of soft tires in Q2, so I only had 1 set left, so it's a one and done kind of situation here in Q3. What can we do? Monza has been historically a pretty bad place for qualifying, but a historically good place for results. We have won the last 2 times we have come here, looking for the three-peat now through the chicane on the tail end of the circuit. Right now, Mercedes 6th, 7th, Lamborghini 8th, 9th. It's McLaren 1, 2 with Leclerc and Jackson. We roll around the final turn. What is it going to be now as we exit the final turn to the line? Here we come, and it's going to be only enough to barely beat anybody. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. P9 in Monza. And like I said, we've historically been bad here in qualifying, so I'm not really concerned. Our teammate Dragovic P3, Yuri Vips, and OPMEER in his debut will start P4 due to Vips taking that grid penalty. Row 2 start for OPMEER, the sim racer, moving into Formula 1. What a bunch of pressure he is going to be under as we head to the grid.
A difficult race awaits these drivers here in Monza, but glory awaits too at the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 250 15 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Aiden Jackson lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Drugovich, a Ferrari, Gasly, Russell, Norris, Golden Boy, Yuri Vips, Albon, Behrman, Mayer, Doohan, Maloney, Liam Lawson, Vesti, Sonoda, Oscar Piastri, Mick Schumacher, and Jamie Chadwick. And now it's time to head down to the track. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? That was a solid result in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Ready to roll here from Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. 2 stops don't look to be ideal. We'll be sticking with the 1-stop, medium to hard compound tire strategy here as we're ready to roll.
The formation lap gets underway here at this historic track in Italy. Some monumental moments in history have come from right here. Will we be treated to another today?
Not much strategy to go off of. Everybody starting on the medium compound.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Here we go then. Jarno OPMEER. Row 2, what can he do? This is a story I would like to develop further in F1 24, knowing that some of these sim racers from esports will be in that game. I would like to have kind of a bridge between IRL and then those sim racers as well, with OPMEER and as well Lucas Blakely, etc. We'll see. That's certainly something I'm kind of debating, but nonetheless, that's a story for another time. The story is on Monza and as well us trying to get back in this championship fight with the upgrades that we have. We're racing from Monza. It's a poor start from Jarno OPMEER and my teammate Felipe Drugovich. We go 3 wide already now with the pair of them in towards turn number 1. I back out of it. Drugovich, OPMEER, wheel to wheel into turn 1. We're 3 wide now with the pair of Mercedes. A bit of contact right there with, I believe that was Russell on my left side. We get through unscathed and now everybody continues on and it's been a pretty clean start for the standards of this Italian Monza Grand Prix. But I'm under attack already. George Russell showing the nose, but he's going to stay behind me, so we'll stay ahead here on the run towards the chicane. McLaren 1, 2, Leclerc and Jackson. But we know that even if we were lacking the engine power, this is a good race for us because we see time and time again the leaders, the top 2, they always get stuck together and then they do this back and forth kind of thing where they just use the DRS, they get the run on each other and then they get battling wheel to wheel and they have issues and they slow each other down. So we're gonna have a good chance here today, but actually getting passed down the DRS straight by George Russell, not too concerned, knowing the AI just have so much more ERS potential on this opening lap here. But I'm gonna actually lunge one around the outside of Russell, catch him off guard up ahead. OPMEER and Drugovich again side by side. A poor exit from Russell right there. He was all over the place, so that makes me pretty safe going down towards turn number 1. And going down into turn 1, we see the typical ghosting. I mean, that is just disgusting. Codemasters, I know they don't care about my opinion, they don't even watch me, but that is so disgusting and unacceptable, and I just really hope that's not in F1 24, because it really just shows how flawed your development is at times. Now, as we continue on though, we were able to run down OPMEER and Drugovich in their little side-by-side battle. Even though they ghosted into each other, they still lose a large amount of time. So we're right to the back of the new Ferrari rookie here who will pilot that Ferrari for the rest of the season. Only 6 Grand Prix, of course, and now that he will be able to get under his belt before we jump over to F1 24. But we stay put right now behind OPMEER, and DRS now enabled on this 3rd lap. You look on the track map, the 2 McLarens, they're long gone down the road, but now that DRS is enabled, they are starting to engage in battle. But now Drugovich with no DRS comes under attack from Jarno OPMEER, who moves into a podium position in his opening laps of his F1 career. We're wheel to wheel now with Drugovich into turn number 1 through 2. We should be able to get the job done here on the exit. We get the power down, the traction, the car grips up. up, we take off into P4 and set our sights on the new Dutchman on the grid. Of course, we had a Dutchman leave the grid coming into this year, Max Verstappen, after the dominance he's had. He's been racing in sports cars and has been having a pretty successful season. He actually just picked up a win in Portimao very recently in the sports car scene. Now here, as we are now all over the back of OPMEER with the DRS, we breeze past the Ferrari, showcasing just how much more speed this Ferrari is, kind of lacking compared to our Red Bull Audi. But now we can kind of focus in on running down the leaders here. Now is actually car breaking down. That's Liam Lawson in the Andretti BMW. Of course, Alonso, the team principal at that team this season, been trying to convince us to go to that team, and that's going to actually carry over in the next episode, as we're going to get a bit of an update on that situation with Alonso. But Drugovich had now moved into 4th. He had gotten past Jarno OPMEER, and he was running down myself. We were starting to leave the Ferrari in the distance. I think OPMEER is really going to struggle in these opening Grand Prix with the long-term pace, learning how to manage the tires, etc. The battle of the McLarens is heating up, and now Drugovich is closing in on us, and I already know the situation. The smartest thing to do is work together with your teammates. So we're going to do this little DRS back and forth. We're going to let Drugovich go. He had the DRS. We're just not going to go side by side into these apexes. We want to, of course, make the most efficient time possible to get ourselves into the battle with the McLarens. And they're continuing to go at it side by side up there in front of us. So myself and Drugovich, we're just going to go back and forth, let the two McLarens continue to battle it out, and then eventually we're going to be able to run them down. It might take a few laps, but I know this is a strategy that is going to work. It has proven to work. We've won the last 2 races in Monza by kind of doing the same thing here and there, and we just know that this is the way to do it. So at least in F123 it is. I hope it's a bit different in F124, where the DRS is and everything in Monza, and we can kind of get away from each other. But nonetheless, Drugovich breezes past again, and you can see we're getting a little bit closer. And here we go again, passing Drugovich, now starting lap 10. Leclerc out in front. He'll be wheel to wheel into turn 1 with Aiden Jackson. This is where we gained a massive amount of time. As you can see, them still side by side. Leclerc stays ahead. Jackson, of course, the defending world champion, doesn't want to get dethroned this season, but it is looking like he is going to be. It looks like Leclerc, is just poised to win his first world title. But now we are not going to do the back and forth anymore with Drugovich, because we have gotten in the DRS of Aiden Jackson. So now it's game on, and here he goes up the inside again of Charles Leclerc into turns 1 and 2. Leclerc, can he stay ahead? Yes, he can. He just, continues to put his car exactly where it needs to be. Jackson is not done, however. Here he goes. He now has a run on the back of Leclerc, and here he goes to the right side into the chicane. Really awkward there. Everybody's slow, and that's keeping myself and Drugovich right on the back of these two McLarens, and this battle between these two continues. Jackson not backing down from a fight. Leclerc not giving the position to him. Sideways goes Leclerc. Saves it, as we all have to back up to avoid an incident now. And Jackson's all over the back of Charles Leclerc, as the pit window as well is moments from opening here in the next couple of laps, as here we go again. Jackson to the inside, desperate to get to the lead of this Grand Prix, but now he's vulnerable to me. I try to swing a run around the outside, not going to happen as we exit the final turn, and now this is going to get spicy. Jackson with the DRS swings to the right side. Myself and Drugovich have a huge run as well. We have to take it. There's a gap between the grass and Leclerc. We breeze past into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Here comes Aiden Jackson, though. Lunges one into turn 1. We're still side by side for the lead. Drugovich remains in P4. Leclerc down into 3rd. We want Jackson P2, and I want to be winning this race. That's perfect for us, but Jackson's going to stay ahead here. I'm going to back out of it, not going to go side by side into the chicane. Too early to be going that aggressive. So we stay put, and at the end of lap 12, both myself and Charles Leclerc are going to come into the pits here, get these medium compound tires off, put on a fresh set of hards, and we're going to pit 1 lap earlier than our teammate of Drugovich and Leclerc's teammate of Aiden Jackson. So clearly it's a McLaren, Red Bull, Audi kind of war here today in Monza, and we've seen this back and forth between these two teams, several times in the past couple of seasons, but we'll rejoin the circuit, and it's clear these upgrades that Audi have brought are enough to now fight for wins again. But it puts us pretty well dead even with McLaren. We can't drive away from them, but we can certainly hang with them and fight with them. We couldn't do that the last few episodes, and we desperately needed this upgrades. We now have exactly what we need. Is Leclerc using a lot of ERS this lap is going to pass me into the chicane. Not really disappointed by that, not too concerned. We are right where we need to be, but like I was just saying, we have everything we need now. We have a reliable car for the first time in our career. What it seems like we have yet to have a mechanical failure this season, as myself and Leclerc now go to the top of the board 1-2, but we also have the speed now to fight as Leclerc stays ahead at the apex. So we finally got the combination we've been looking for. It took half a season to get it, but we need to put together an incredible last 6 Grand Prix if we're going to win our first championship in our Formula 1 career. The pressure is on. It's our final chance to do so, of course, and we continue on here just following Leclerc in the DRS. I'm not putting too much pressure on him right now, but I haven't been close enough to really do it. So Drugovich, Jackson, 3rd, 4th, OPMEER, 5th. But he's falling into the grips of the 2 Mercedes of Russell and Gasly. They are running him down quickly as the Ferrari isn't quite showing the pace here today. Albon as well having a pretty rough race in his first race with Lamborghini, as now lap 17, fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we get a big run on the back of the Monaco driver. We lunge one to the right side, up the inside, nearly clear, but Leclerc hard on the brakes and late on the brakes there. He continues wheel to wheel, but on the exit of the corner, turn 2, we'll get the grip, we'll have the momentum back up front here in Monza. But as we come towards that tail end of the lap, here we go, we continue this back and forth, and we did it with Drugovich. Now we're doing it involuntarily with Leclerc. He goes back through, takes the lead of this Monza Grand Prix as we approach the final turn, and coming to 10 laps to go here in Monza already in what's been a fairly clean race. We're going to go through the grid with 10 laps remaining.
It's Charles Leclerc in command, but here comes Owen with the DRS.
Owen is going to breeze right past the McLaren here, not even a contest. These two will continue to go back and forth for the lead here until the end of this race.
Drugovich and Jackson trail behind as they pull away from the new debut driver, Jarno OPMEER.
A solid debut for the young Dutchman who's gone from sim racing to now reality. Ferrari have utilised him now for a few years within their sim programme. The 2 Mercedes, however, are closing in on all 3 cars right in front of them.
How about Alex Albon? He made the move this week from Ferrari to Lamborghini in hopes for more reliability at the cost of a little bit of pace. However, his pace today has lacked significantly compared to his teammate of Lando Norris.
Not a great new team debut for a frustrated driver, to say the least. Give him some time, though. It's been a rough track for Alex these last few seasons, and I hope the young man can get back on track here.
Schumacher and Tsunoda make up the back of the grid.
And there you have, through the grid, Alex Albon down in 15th, while Lando Norris runs top 10. Leclerc breezed past me on the DRS straight there through the grid, and now as you can see me looking to show the nose into turn 1, backed out of it there. Didn't quite like the way it was playing out, but obviously the situation is it's going to come down to DRS. Who has the DRS at the right time? And Mark actually going to come over the radio and just give me a bit of a suggestion.
Okay, so obviously you want to be second coming to the final lap. Use the DRS to pass him into turn 1 and do whatever it takes to stay ahead from that point on.
Yep, 10-4. I'll do what I can do. You hear the advice from Mark, but it was pretty well advice I already knew. Now 8 to go in this Grand Prix. We are long gone from Drugovich, 3.5 seconds up on him. He's in a back and forth with Aiden Jackson, and our battle with Charles Leclerc continues. OPMEER now under pressure from the pair of Mercedes, but Leclerc's just way better. Into turn 1, a braking, nearly contact there with him now as we swing back, a little cut back now, and we'll take the lead anyways on the exit of turn 2. This is a battle that is far from over. The back and forth between us continues, and here we go down that back straightaway towards the DRS detection, and he is actually going to decide to go through and take that lead anyway. So we get the DRS immediately, pass him back again on this run towards turn 1. I don't mind doing this back and forth. We're still driving away from the cars behind. We just know, as I go for a bit of a slide right there out of the first of the 2 double right-handers, we know that we just need to be P2 with the DRS coming to the final lap. Right here is where we want to be pouncing on Leclerc coming to the final lap of this Grand Prix, get ahead into turn 1, and I'm confident we can manage the lead and control the pace for the final lap here. Pierre Gasly and George Russell have both gotten past OPMEER, who continues to fade. So 5th and 6th for Gasly and Russell, and they are running down our teammate Drugovich and Aiden Jackson as well as they continue to battle it out. We continue, though, to just watch this McLaren, and at this point I was pretty content with just setting him up for what's to come. Now Gasly within a second of Drugovich and Jackson. It's about to be game on there. There's about 4 cars battling for, well, 4 positions now. So that's going to be interesting to see who gets what. It's not a must-win race, but it's a must-beat Charles Leclerc race, which makes it a must-win race here now, as we're going to go back, breezing past the McLaren into turn 1. Is he going to try and outbrake us again? Yes, he is. He's just going to lunge it deeper into turn 1, runs us out of room, now nearly contact Leclerc back to the lead, and certainly proving he's willing to get the elbows out. Leclerc willing to do whatever it takes to get that first world title here. 2 laps ago, you see me back out of any form of move into turn 1. Now it's just about letting things happen here, waiting for that final lap, which is going to come around very quick now at the end of that second DRS straight, just chilling right where we need to be. Leclerc with a bit of a slip and slide right there, but we got him right where we want him. The quest for 3 Italian Grand Prix wins in a row is on. Final lap, and here we go, the move to the outside of Charles Leclerc. We're going to clear him down towards turn 1. This time I'm going to cover him off, put the car right in the middle of the track, making sure he can't lunge up the inside this time. We lead the way out of turn number 2. 1 lap remains, and now we are in control of this Grand Prix here into the next chicane. A bit of an awkward entry there into turn, well, I call it turn 3 now. As you can see, Leclerc pretty close to myself, as we got the 2 double right-handers to, of course, get through, as we go a little bit wide right there on the first one. Leclerc doesn't really gain much, but the second one now, here we go, 1 DRS straight to go, and we know Leclerc is going to be quick here on this final lap of the Italian Grand Prix. Here he goes, he's got to run, we go to the left. Leclerc actually doesn't get alongside, he backed out of the throttle as we come through the chicane for the final time. A few corners remain on this final lap, and now he has run. There's a yellow ahead now as Schumacher sideways, and his teammate of Yuki Tsunoda's breaking down on the final lap, but the battle is right here for the lead. Around the outside goes Leclerc. We're going to open up the wheel on the exit and not leave a lot of room. He can't throttle up, and ahead we are, and coming through to win our 3rd consecutive Italian Grand Prix. Let's go, guys. We needed that one bad. It's still a long fight ahead, so let's not get carried away. Let's focus in on what's to come here and going forward.
Great win, mate. Awesome drive. Let's go.
It's not over yet, Gary. Win 2 of the year. Great drive, thank you.
Let's go win some more. Thank you, Christian.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one.
Only our 2nd win of the season, but it's a big one here in Monza. Our 3rd time winning at this track, our most winningest track for sure. And yeah, I mean, we needed that win bad. We needed to beat Leclerc specifically. We also got the fastest lap, so we get the point there as well. So not just a 25-point day, a 26-point day. The constructor situation, of course, we know we're not really in a fight with McLaren anymore. It's actually now a fight for 2nd with Mercedes. We just haven't quite had that consistency. Dragovic has had kind of the effect that I had last season, where the reliability isn't quite where it needs to be for him. But hopefully going forward, we can, sort that out. But yeah, I mean, a very important race victory to get as we celebrate with, of course, soon to be leaving Red Bull IRL Adrian Newey here up on the top of the podium. Gasly ended up getting a podium P3 as well. Completely, ignored the battle of those guys at the end because it was just so back and forth between myself and Leclerc. But look at this, Dragovic 4th, Jackson down to 5th, Russell 6th. OPMEER in his debut beats his teammate of Yuri Vips, so he gets P7, P8. Behrman, Norris 9th and 10th. Albon in his Lamborghini debut 15th. Definitely a disappointment there as you see the rest of the finishing order. In the points, we are still P3, but we're now only 42 points back. Game on. Less than 2 races between myself and Leclerc, with not a lot of races left, of course. In the constructors, Mercedes about 50 points back from us, and we're 152 back from McLaren. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.